Hello, and welcome back to the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always, his meat is bloody tough. It's Scotty Westside.
True!
Can
Big
confirm.
True. Can confirm. Bloody tough meat, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's definitely big true. Big true.
I don't know about big. Let's leave big out of conversations about your meat.
I love how we're just leading off talking about my meat. That's always a great start.
Would this really be an episode of You Don't Want a Podcast?
I started off talking about your titties one time. We just love doing all that stuff, don't we?
Man meat, dude.
We're big fans of man meat.
Yeah. Yeah, man meat.
Yeah, definitely. How are you doing this week, pal?
Dude, I'm doing good, actually.
Yeah?
Baseball's back.
Baseball's back, baby!
Baby!
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Big fan. Been having a lot of fun watching some Astros games. Got to see your fucking Rockies whoop some ass.
Go Rockies.
Against the bitch-ass Dodgers.
Yes. Fuck the Dodgers. Let's go Rockies. Fuck you very specifically, Chaz. If we have any other Dodger fans out there, you can also suck it. I have to take these small victories where we can get them. And the Rockies just won their first series against the Dodgers. And that's great. So suck it, Chaz. You know, I'm pretty happy. I'm walking on sunshine over here.
Fuck yeah. Speaking of sunshine, I got some sunshine this weekend.
You did a little bit, yeah. You went to a game.
Yeah, I'm glowing.
Yeah, all glowed up.
No, I am actually a little sunburnt. Look at that. Actually, that's. We went to a Sandlot baseball game, man. It was so fucking cool.
That sounds cool.
It was, dude. The pitcher for the team from Marfa, Texas, had like cowboy boots on and a big cowboy belt buckle. I swear to God,
he was wearing cowboy boots while pitching.
Yeah, and he had a cowboy hat, and he was smoking a cigarette. I'm not fucking lying.
Oh my God, smoking a cigarette while pitching in a hat and boots.
Dude, this guy was a legend.
Confirmed the coolest guy that's ever lived.
Actually, yes. He also had a massive mustache.
I assumed, yeah, that had to complete the package.
Yeah.
Dude, smoking a cigarette while pitching is such a power move. That is like, I don't give a damn about anything or anyone. Yeah. I'm just going to smoke away. Can you imagine being the batter and staring out to the pitcher and he's just like staring in at you with like a cigarette in his mouth and his cowboy boots? I would be terrified. Well, I would be terrified and I would come everywhere. Holy shit, that sounds amazing.
It actually was so cool.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, had some good food, drank a lot. Day drink, actually. It was actually quite nice.
Day drinking.
It was great. A lot of fun. Good weekend.
I mainly spent my weekend watching baseball, watching the Rockies games, which was a good time. I missed baseball. I love baseball. We've talked about baseball on the podcast before.
Say baseball like 7 more times, please.
Baseball is the baseball of baseballs, one might say. A wise man once said that baseball is the baseball of baseballs.
A wise baseball once baseballed.
Yes.
Baseball.
There's probably zero overlap in our audience of baseball fans and Game of Thrones fans, but I don't care. I love it so much.
Well, Chaz says he's a baseball fan.
He claims he's a baseball fan, but none of us can confirm whether that's true or not.
No, definitely not.
Love you, buddy. But yeah, we're actually not here to talk about baseball.
Oh, well, I'm going to go then.
Okay, yeah. I'll just take care of this one. Don't worry about it. Okay. We're here to talk about episode 8 of Game of Thrones, The Pointy End. I'm just gonna subtly emphasize the 8, that it's episode 8, not in fact 7. Don't worry about it. It's not important. And this is a good episode. This is an interesting one.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
about
want
the
to
first rule
elaborate?
of sword fighting.
It is about the first rule of sword fighting. This episode to me has a feeling of
Dread.
well, yes, but also like pieces being reset. Like with the big betrayal, everything that happened in King's Landing, like it's like someone just came up to the board and flipped it over, and now everyone is like scrambling to like reset the pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good visual analogy, Scott.
Thanks, buddy. It's kind of a transitionary episode where we're getting a lot of
You're good at the words.
movement. As I struggle to think of a word, the movement. As I struggle to think of a word, you're like, you're good with the words. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I like this episode. It's pretty good.
It's fun. Why don't we start talking about it?
Why don't we hit our recap, buddy? Start us off.
All right. So, Game of Thrones episode 8, The Pointy End. Arya continues her training with Syrio, as all throughout the capital, the Lannister Guard and the City Watch slaughter all the remaining Stark Guard. Sansa flees and hides in her room, and Syrio fights off a bunch of Lannister men with a wooden sword before ultimately falling to Meryn fucking Trent.
Meryn fucking Trent.
More on that later.
Yes.
Arya sticks some boy with the pointy end.
Not a euphemism. She actually just literally does.
Not a euphemism considering she's like a 9-year-old
She's
girl.
very young. Yes, she literally just skewers him with an actual real sword.
Ned is paid a visit from Varys, and he claims that he, quote, truly serves the realm. It's the first time we hear that. It's an interesting take. North of the Wall, they find the bodies of 2 Night's Watchmen from the hand that Ghost found. Sam notices that they're not rotting. Lord Commander Mormont tells Jon of Ned being charged with treason and warns him not to do anything stupid.
I'm sure that'll go well.
It's gonna go great. Meanwhile, Sansa is being told what to think by Varys, Cersei, Pycelle, and Baelish. She's made to write home to Robb about Ned and that he is summoned to King's Landing to swear fealty to the new king. When Robb Stark receives his letter, he agrees to go to King's Landing, but with an army at his back.
Robb Stark, not Robb Start, I'll have you know. As it says in the notes.
Did I say start?
It says start. No, it's written start. Robb Start.
Dude, autocorrect, bro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He has Maester Luwin call the banners. I just gotta tell you, 6 to midnight right here. So quick.
It's a pretty good
so
scene.
quick.
Yeah,
it's so good. In the Vale, Kat is furious that her sister Lysa refuses to take the Vale's army to war against the Lannisters. On their trek home from the Vale, Tyrion and Bronn meet Shagga, son of Dolph, and others of the Hill tribe, and they make friends. Against Mormont's wishes, Jon does actually go and do something stupid.
Shock! I'm shocked!
When Alistair Thorne is being a dick to him. It's warranted.
Yeah, it's
Kind
true.
of a little bit. Jon and Ghost save Mormont from the reanimated corpse of one of the Night's Watchmen by burning him.
Maybe I should just take over here for you,
yeah,
buddy.
Why don't you take over here, buddy?
Struggle fest. In the east, Dany decides to save some slaves, taking away the spoils of war from the Dothraki riders. Mago, a rider, challenges Drogo for allowing Dany, a foreigner, to give orders. Drogo rips his throat out, real baller move, but not before getting his perfect boobies a little cut up. Dany allows Mirri Maz Duur, a witch, to tend his wounds. More on that later. Scott has thoughts about this.
Lots more on that
Lots of thoughts. In the north, Robb has assembled his banners. Grey Wind bites off Lord Greatjon Umber's fingers for being a fucker. Robb rides south with all his hosts. Also, Hodor is a big man. There's a big man.
He's got giant's blood, or I'm the queen.
I don't think she's the queen. Back at the wall, they burn the reanimated corpses, and Sam informs us that they were touched by the White Walkers. Dun, dun, dun. Kat reunites with Rob in the field of war. Lord Umber promises to shove his sword up Tywin's bunghole. Weren't you the one that didn't know what a bunghole was?
No. Absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure you once thought that a bunghole was a vagina and not, in fact, an asshole. Wasn't that you?
Absolutely not. No.
I'm pretty sure it was. I should have shown you the scene.
It definitely wasn't me.
It was
You're just
definitely
making
you.
this up
No.
completely.
It was someone, and I'm pretty sure it was you.
It definitely was not me.
Cat.
Yo, I'm a man of the bungus, okay? Trust me, I know what a bunghole is.
I am a man of the bungus.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Put that on a t-shirt. Put that on your banners. That would be House Zachary's.
Put that on my grave, dude.
House Zachary's words and a bungus on your banner.
I swear to God.
Kat tells Rob that their only option is to fight and win. Tyrion arrives at the Lannister camp with his hill tribes in tow and meets with his father. We learn of Jaime's victories in the war against the River Lords and how Tywin is preparing to fight Rob's army. Rob and the Northern Lords discuss their next strategy and how they'll need to cross the river. The only bridge is held by the Freys. Rob lets a Lannister scout go to tell Tywin that 20,000 Northmen are coming south to see if he really does shit gold. Because there's a rumor that Tywin Lannister shit scalp. Anyway, back at King's Landing.
You don't say.
You don't say. Back at King's Landing, Cersei relieves Sir Barristan Selmy of his duties, and he makes a grand exit. What a legend. Sansa pleads on behalf of Ned, and Joffrey agrees that if he confesses his treason, he'll be spared. And that is how we end episode 8, The Pointy End. We
hope that when you guys watched the episode, it did not feel as sloppy as it was when we recapped it for you.
That recap was crystal clean. I don't know what you're talking about. Crystal clean? What does that even mean? Crystal clear as mud. This is not the sloppiest episode. You know, it didn't bode well the way we started, Zach.
That's true. Hey, they don't need to know about it.
They don't need to know about won't hurt them. Yeah, so like we said, there's kind of a lot of moving around, a lot of people scrambling, a lot of army movement in this episode. Where do you want to start here, buddy?
I think the first thing here is that I just have to say this because this is on my first time watching, seeing Robb Stark, not Robb Start,
correct,
tell Maester Luwin to call the banners, and that he will ride south, but with an army at his back.
Right,
is like that. I was so hype the first time I watched that.
We've gotten little hints of like Robb the Lord, so to speak, where, you know, he's kind of showing that he can be, you know, that he's a grown man and that he can be a leader. Like, you know, parts where, you know, he tells Luwin that, you know, he'll make the appointments when Kat is like in her catatonic state. And little flashes of Robb being the Lord. Did you like that? It was so bad. Please don't laugh that hard at it. It was so bad you shouldn't be laughing. But this is where we like truly see Robb kind of coming into his own. I love the part where no one is taking any of this seriously. Nice autofocus camera. Yeah.
You're so dumb.
I'm so dumb.
Bad.
But when he tells Luwin, like, they've all sworn to defend my father, haven't they? And Lewin's like, they have. And he's just like, well, then let's see what their promises are worth. It's very good.
Lewin gives him this little
yeah, dude.
Like this little oh fuck yeah.
Dude, I love Lewin so much. Lewin's so cool.
Dude.
Lewin's such an underrated, unsung character. Like, that dude's rad.
Yeah.
He's cool as hell. I feel like we should probably save the Daenerys stuff. After
I don't have a lot, so it can go wherever.
Okay. Let's start at the beginning of this episode and talk about how fucking rad Syrio Forel is.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So obviously it's a bad scene in King's Landing for anyone of, House Stark, and all the people that are associated with them. And one of the King's Guard, that fucker Maren Trant, and 4 or 5 Lannister soldiers come to collect Arya. And Syrio is just so cool, dude. He's got a wooden sword and no armor, and these dudes are in full armor with real swords. And he just fucks them all up until, of course, he has to fight Maren Trant, which we do not get to see the result of, but we can only assume that Syrio does not make it. But
right.
He's just so cool. I loved the line. This is actually before the Lannisters come in, but we've talked a lot about Arya and her learning experiences through this, but I love the line that he tells her, watching is not seeing. He's basically telling her, she's like, no, I was watching what you were doing. And he's like, yeah, you were watching, but you weren't truly seeing.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's another, a point for Arya learning, something good that she'll carry with her.
Is
for
this
a long time.
when he's calling out left, right,
Yes,
and he goes right when he says left?
Yes. And he's like, I said right, my eyes were screaming left, or vice versa, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's just so
good.
cool. I love that dude so much.
That dude is just every time he's on screen, he's just hey, let me just give you 12 life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just help you become a better person always.
Right. And and he just, he literally gives his life to save Arya, a girl he has not known for very long. He's a foreigner. He really doesn't have any true reason to defend her, to give his life for her, but he does. And I feel like that's going to be a common thing for Arya, is that she, whether this is intentional or not, but people kind of rally to Arya and they fight for her, and it's really kind of cool. It's just a cool scene. I love Syrio.
She as a watcher, she's lovable, and you gravitate to her story because she is not predictable, and she's exciting and just kind of against the grain.
Right.
And I feel in a real world setting, people are going to gravitate to that. Also, it's very good.
Definitely. And she also kills the shit out of that stable boy.
She does kill the shit out of that stable boy.
She kills the absolute shit out of that stable boy. Kind of an accident, but you know what? Big props to her for just kind of being, she gets away here. All the House Stark people are getting slaughtered. We see Sansa get captured by the Hound. And yes, Arya had big help from Syrio, but she is just resourceful, and she is willing to do what needs to be done to get away. And it's just good stuff from her always. Anytime she's on screen, damn.
Yep. Yep. We don't get a cut back to her in this episode, right? It's not the next one.
Yeah, that was her using the pointy end of her sword needle is the last we see of her.
Is the last one. Okay.
Quick shout out to the scene where the Hound finds Sansa. I love Rory McCann so much. We haven't talked enough about the Hound yet. That his time will come.
He hasn't had enough to do,
right.
But yeah, we're gonna talk. Full disclosure, we are going to talk about.
We're going to talk a lot about Rory McCann and the Hound. But this is the little chuckle he gives when she's like, stay away from me, I'll tell the queen. And he just gives the most sinister ass chuckle I've ever heard in my life. And he just goes, who do you think sent me? And he's just so intimidating and cool at the same
and
time.
ugly and badass.
I love the Hound. I love him. And this is like, I had to give this shout out because like that little chuckle he gives when she's like, I'll tell the queen. He's just like, you don't even know, girl. You don't fucking know.
Dude, she's so oblivious to everything.
She's so naive. It's ridiculous. Like, to her credit, in the scene later where they're like, hey, write this for us, and like basically telling her what to think, she kind of tries to fight it for a little bit, where she's like, can I just talk to my father? But then, you know, Cersei is just like, you disappoint me. And Sansa's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I guess I give her half points for kind of trying to not fully let them tell her what's what.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what do you actually do in that situation as a child?
She doesn't have many options for sure.
Yeah. I do want to talk about and point out, even though it's brief, this exchange between Varys and Ned. Very good. Also, like, I know we're mainly talking about the story here, but the cinematography in that section, like just how low lit everything is, and like him being woken up with the fire, it's just so good. Like I love cool. How dramatic and like just dead it feels. Yeah, like like you do not get the feeling like
it's not a good place that Ned is in.
It's very different than like the cells where Tyrion was held. You know, like this is dark and like just this guy's not gonna make it out of this. You know?
It's not a good spot. Like poor Ned is not looking hot. Doesn't he even ask Varys to like basically like kill him?
He's like, yeah, well, slit my throat now.
Yeah, slit my throat and be done with it. And it's like, yeah, he's not in a good way. That knee's got to be acting up big time too.
Yeah, dude.
I said I wouldn't talk much about the books, but the scenes we get of Ned in the dungeon are really, really cool because this is where we get our first kind of... Ned is having dreams, and they are related to a certain tower of happiness, I will say, and I won't say any more than that. But it's just very cool coming from much later in the story.
Yeah.
And knowing what that is all about, and it's very cool stuff. Obviously, they couldn't really do it in the show because, like, having Ned vaguely describe a dream he's having is much different than showing us these dreams he's having, right, you know, so. Right. But it's still just definitely. A cool part of the books. In
the books, too, like, if you like that kind of stuff, like the foreshadowing and stuff, their dreams are extremely, like, prominent in the books, and they show a lot of the hand without you realizing how much you're seeing. Right. You know, it's very good.
Definitely. Let's jump to the wall. Obviously, you know, when Jon is very upset when he finds out that his father is in a dungeon and being accused of treason. And my favorite part of this whole section is the look on my dude Sir Alistair's face when he comes up to Jon and just he knows what he's doing. You're not only obviously,
bastard, but a traitor's bastard.
A traitor's bastard as well. And Jon looks at him, and Sir Alistair looks back at him, and he's just got this like tiny little bit of a smile, and like just the look on his face is he's like, yeah, go on.
Yeah,
go ahead,
I fucking said that.
Yeah, I fucking said it. Go on, attack me. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's 100% intentional. And the look on that dude's face, the actor's name is escaping me right now, but he's very good. And it's just the look on his face really stuck out to me because he's just like, yeah, do it. Go ahead. Yeah, attack me. Yeah. And then immediately, of course, Jon does. And he's like, got you, bitch. You'll hang for this.
Something.
Yeah, I should remember.
We looked it up on one of our last episodes.
Did we really?
Yeah. It's like
Sir Alistair will have his time to shine later.
Something teal.
We'll call him out. We'll call him out when that is. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about with Jon?
Yeah, I just love that Mormont is like Sam, you may be a coward, but you're bloody smart one or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're not a fool, I think is what he says.
Right,
You may
right,
be a
right,
coward, but you're not a fool. Yeah, big win for Sam again. He's definitely going to make the list again for sure. He's the smartest person here. Big wins for my boys.
Yeah, okay.
I won't fight too hard for that, but he does know about White Walkers, which is very important. I do love how Sam is like, I hope the wall is high enough. If that's not like fucking like ominous as shit,
Yeah.
I don't know what is. That's great.
It's Owen Teal, by the way.
Owen Teal. Yep. Good call. Yeah, it's good stuff north
Dude,
of the
can
wall up there.
we just talk about how bad Liza sucks?
Oh, she's the worst.
Like
Her
I
and
was
Robin.
about I sorry that took a second to come out. I was going to say everybody in Kat's family, but that's not true. Not everybody in Kat's family sucks.
No, there is one
her and
specific
Liza,
person.
They suck.
They do.
And Kat is not insufferable in these moments because she's trying to do the right thing, but like Liza is just insufferable.
She is the worst. Like, it's a very quick scene between the two of them, but Kat's all pissed off for good reason. Her husband is now in a dungeon, and Liza is basically just a giant coward, and it's just like,
I'm hungry.
goddamn Robin. Fucking worst. That little kid. Yeah, it's just not a good scene in the Vale. They have the worst leadership. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean,
Their
it's a
leadership.
child who still sucks on his mom's tit, and this fucking batshit crazy woman
Batshit crazy lady. But still
who
in the
lets
Vale.
a grown child suck on her tit.
Yeah. Still in the Vale, we do get a good scene with Tyrion, Bronn, and our lovely hill tribesmen.
Wait. I have to ask you, how do you want to die?
As an old man in my own bed with a belly full of wine and a girl, what does he say? A girl's mouth around my cock.
Yeah. And Shagga's like,
Shagga.
okay, you're funny. Like,
yeah,
kill,
dude.
take the half man, kill the other guy.
The way Shagga laughs is always so good. Shagga, son of Dolph, is just a treat every time he's on screen. That dude is great. Tyrion, major W's again, proving that his wit and his ability to talk his way out of messes is very relevant and a very powerful tool that he has.
Right.
Because this is 2 situations in a row now where he was captured at the Vale and he managed to finagle his way out of that with his wits and his words.
Even just
now
the
he's doing it
subtle,
again.
like him pushing down Bronn's sword.
Yeah.
Like Bronn was ready to fight if needed.
Ron was
if
ready
need
to
be,
throw
and he's
down,
like,
baby.
just pushes it down and just starts talking to them. Come, share a fire.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's very good.
Quick, great line from Bronn when he tells Tyrion, he's just like, don't expect me to bend the knee in my lord yet every time you take a shit. It's just so good. Bronn basically telling Tyrion, like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll be your dude, I'll be your, guy, but I'm not gonna give you any respect at all. So
Yeah.
you can suck it. And it's just great.
I also love, like, it's such a defining, like, it outlines their relationship so much, that quick conversation. Like, if you're ever hired to kill me, just know, like, I'll pay better, or whatever, whatever he says.
Yeah,
That's
and Bronn even says, like, I'm not your toady and I'm not your friend. And I think Tyrion makes some remark about, like, as much as your friendship would delight me. And you know what? Those two, I think their friendship grows over the time they spend together.
Right. He's like, it's your skill in killing people that interests me more.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Speaking of very good things with Bronn, the "you wouldn't know him" line when Tyrion is saying all the, so-and-so, son of so-and-so, Shagga, son of Dolph.
That's not this episode, though. That's next episode.
No, that's this episode.
Oh,
That's
you're right.
literally this episode.
You're right. It is.
Zach knows exactly where we are in time and place.
I don't know where I am.
And then, Tyrion gets to Bronn, and he's like, Bronn, son of, and he realizes he has no idea, and Bronn just looks at Tywin, you wouldn't know him. Is so good. Bronn is such a cheeky
Uncle
bastard.
Kevin is like,
yeah. We did not have a specific thing we were counting this episode. I wanted to kind of it's all basically in this one scene, but I was like, I thought we could do the gag of we could actually do a counter of every time that Charles Dance literally glares a hole right through someone. Like, Charles Dance glowers at people better than maybe anyone I have ever seen. Like, when Braun says that you wouldn't know him, it cuts back to Tywin's face, and like, I can't even begin to replicate his face, but like, it's so priceless and so funny. Yeah, it's just like, the dude can stare a damn hole through a steel wall. It's so good. I love that dude so much.
So are we gonna skip Danny until the end?
Let's leave that for the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to?
Not at the Lannister camp, but I do want to talk about Robb for a second.
Sure. Real quick.
Robb
the first scene we get between Tyrion and Tywin does not disappoint. Like, it's a solid scene.
Oh yeah, dude.
That relationship dynamic is pretty much what you'd expect, judging by what we saw between like Jaime and Tywin. Like, Tywin is the man in charge. Tyrion is just cheekier than Jaime is, and like, he will even from the subtle like just Tywin like taking the wine. Yeah, so good.
So it and like
so
Tyrion
good.
being like, oh
yeah, and then Tyrion's like,
I wanted that.
Oh, it's good of you to go to war for me and all this, and Tywin's like, you didn't leave me a choice, you damn fool. Like, this is for the honor of our house. It has nothing to do with you, basically. Yeah, Charles Dance, goddamn, he's so cool.
Definitely. Speaking of somebody very cool, or becoming very cool, man, this whole like northern like round table that is happening is so fun. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I enjoy the stuff in the north maybe a little more than you do. I feel like I've always been really about like Robb Stark and Ned and those guys. This whole scene, like, it's okay, so obviously I can't relate to going to battle, but like,
no way,
just, obviously the stakes are much higher, I guess is what I'm saying, but like, being in a position where like you have to overtake like a new team or something like that, or like just managing people in general, like always being questioned and like being like, who's this guy? Who's the new guy? Or whatever the fuck. Like,
right.
There is like, you wish you can have those one-liner moments like that to just be like, and fuck you, and I'm in charge. Okay, yeah. It's so good, dude.
It's very good.
Is this where Umber tells him, "Are you touched, boy?"
Yeah, well, that's later. That is in this episode. Zach still doesn't know where he's at. Yeah, it's when he lets the Lannister Stark go.
Right.
I love the way Great John Umber laughs. Is so funny to me. Like, no, it's like after the wolf cuts or bites his fingers off, and he's like, "Is bloody tough," and then he does it's so funny. He's just, the dude is like bleeding with two stumps of fingers. He's just like, it's so fucking funny. But you're right. Robb he's doing a very good job of walking a delicate balance between like, I'm your lord and I want you to respect and fear me, but I'm not gonna like, needlessly go overboard with like, I could be well within my rights to kill you for drawing steel against me, Lord Umber, or, oh, I can execute, this Lannister scout. He's, trying to follow Ned's example and show some mercy, which is what he says, but he also, needs to gain the respect of these tough older Northmen, because Robb is very young, but he's
a green boy.
He's a green boy. Tywin even says he's a green boy and is going to run. It's his first taste of battle. And,
they call him a pup.
They call him a pup.
Wolf pup.
The wolf pup. Tyrion actually defends Robb too. He's like, I don't know. He does have a certain belligerence about him. You'd like him. And yep. Tywin again just gives that glower. He's like kind of does a little eyebrow thing at Tyrion. It's God, it's so good. But Robb is doing an excellent job of, we're already seeing him truly win the loyalty of his bannermen, which he's gonna need because he's up against a tall task. For sure. Definitely.
It's good stuff. I do love all that, everything in the North going on. Them rallying behind Robb, and just the way he kind of like carries himself. You know, like he's like, yo, look, I guess I'll have to show you the size of my dick.
Yeah.
I guess, but like, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah. Here it is. Just plops it down on the table.
Yeah.
You wanted to see it. Great, Sean. Let's get, unless there's something else, let's get to the East. And where my true hatred probably is the correct word for Daenerys starts to begin.
Sure, yeah.
You know, we've already talked plenty about my feelings towards Daenerys being quite negative, shall we say. And to this point, she has been mostly fine. There's been a couple nitpicks here and there where, like, I was like last week, like, why is she trying so hard to convince Drogo to do this thing? Whatever. But it is in this episode where her decision making, I am just like, I know you're like young and naive, but what the fuck? What the actual fuck are you thinking?
Yep.
You are so... Ooh! Yeah, oh my god. I could rant for a minute. What do you want to say about this, Saki boy?
I mean, it's interesting to see like how quickly something can turn from something that you like and can stand behind, right? Like Daenerys, you know, standing up for the slaves. It's like, oh cool. I like that. That's a good thing. Taking slaves is bad, right? We can all agree on that.
We can all agree on that.
And even some of the like, hey, like I'm your fucking Khaleesi. Fuck off.
Sure.
You know,
fine.
Can kind of get behind that. The fight being brought to Drogo is like, okay, like you're making your problems his problems now, and you're kind of like running to dad, right?
Yeah,
that's like running to daddy a little bit.
Well, the Dothraki writer also ran to dad. So.
Sure, right. No, you're right. You're right. But she uses him. Like, if you don't do this, Drogo's gonna know. Blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, Drogo loves her. So he's like, hey, I'll fight this fight.
Right.
Well, he wants it to be done with, but he can't publicly be challenged like that. So he's like, all right, I guess I have to do this fight.
He's like, Mago, fuck off. Get out of here.
Yeah, go find somewhere else to stick your dick.
Right.
And
literally fuck off.
Yeah, quite literally
fuck off, sir.
So it's I think it's just again, you're right. It is her being naive.
Yeah. Because
it's a good notion, but
it's like
you can't just change these people like that. And at the very least not expect some type of repercussion.
Sure. My thing is like this is her doing. What the fuck did she think was going to happen when she rides with the very savage Dothraki to war? Like,
yeah.
This was her wanting to go retake the Seven Kingdoms. I gotta go to war. I gotta do this. Like, and now that it's happening, now you're seeing how this is going to be done. You know, whether it's, oh, they could do a different way or it could be done a better way. It's not gonna be. That's just the Dothraki. That's who they are. Yeah. And you're not gonna change them overnight. And now she's like, oh, well, shit, no, I don't want that to happen. It's like, well, what the fuck did you think it was gonna happen? Varys in this same episode tells Ned, oh yeah, it's always the innocents who suffer.
Right.
Drogo tells her straight up. He looks at her and he just goes, this is the way of war. This actually comes later in the series, but Jorah at some point tells her, like, there's never been a war ever fought where innocents didn't die by the thousands. And it's like, I just don't know what she expected to happen. Now that she's seen it firsthand, she's like, oh shit, no, people die? What? No, slaves
obviously,
bad.
like, we're getting to see this and say this from a point of, like, perspective.
Sure.
It's like, obviously, like, that's not, like, nobody wants any of that.
Right.
But being in that and not realizing that is going to be a product of what you're choosing to do.
Right. Of what she wanted to do.
Like, you mentioned how, like, you have these savage, barbarian, you know, people. Fuck that. Even in just regular war.
Right.
Like, they're raping and pillaging these villages.
It wouldn't matter if it was Dothraki or, you know, whatever. When the Lannisters, you know, sacked King's Landing, it was, you know, absolutely destroyed. That's just, Drogo, like I said, straight up tells her, this is the way of war. This is how this goes. This is what you signed up for. This is what you wanted.
Yeah.
But this is not even the biggest beef I have with her this episode. The biggest beef I have with her is our boy Drogo, after being a total badass and barehanded, like, just throwing his fucking knives away while he yells at this dude about, I'm gonna beat your bitch ass and how cool am I? Check out my shit, basically. And rips that dude's throat out. How cool is Jason Momoa? He gets the smallest scratch in the history of combat. I've definitely had paper cuts way worse than this scratch that Drogo has. Danny insists that a fucking witch heal him. Just why do you do the things that you do, Daenerys? This is like, I mean, I swear, like, it was actually worse in the books, kind of, in her defense, but actually, then also, he, like, his nipple was, like, half cut off, and, like, it was all gross. But also, it's kind of worse in the books because they have, like, kind of pseudo-maesters, like, actual healers.
Yeah.
Nearby.
Well, they say that in the show. They're just far away. Like,
right. They're just like, wait, can you wait 5 minutes, Drogo? And Drogo's, yeah, dude, this is like a tiny scratch. No, let the witch heal him. Let the witch heal him. She's so stupid. Oh my God, she's so stupid. This is the key to all my Danny negativity right here. If anyone wants to know, this is it. This is where it starts. This is where it begins. The fucking Drogo's blood rider tries to tell her, why don't let this witch touch him? What are you doing? Why are you so stupid? And she's like, no, I know best. I definitely know best. I'm like a 16-year-old girl. I definitely know best. Let's have this witch. Yeah. This tiny cut.
Like her naiveness is definitely showing in the sense of, like, you know, she's trying to be like, look, just because you look at them as lower doesn't mean that they can't be good.
Sure.
Right? And that's her perspective. That's not God perspective, which we get to have.
Fair.
And it's like, she's still bad though. Like, I mean, I don't want to get ahead, but there's a comment that Miri Mazdor makes later that is like even if,
oh yeah, it gets worse before it gets better. It gets much worse before it gets better.
Miri Mazdor, like, I guess didn't intentionally do what is going to happen or whatever the fuck. Like, she went out of her way to look. Whatever,
hey, I guess
we'll have to address this in the next episode.
You know, obviously this will continue. This story will continue.
A
lot happens next episode in regards to this.
Yeah.
And it's just so unnecessary. Like, at least give him a worse wound to, like, make her decision a little bit more likely,
it was pretty
guess.
Deep. It was pretty deep.
Drogo has had shits that have hurt worse than that cut. I guarantee you.
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's pretty deep.
No. That cut was literally nothing.
Right into the muscle.
He literally tells her, he's like, it's a scratch. Like
he's got adrenaline. He's a tough dude. Doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be taken care of.
That scratch was literally nothing. It did have blood in it from when the other dude's blood from when he ripped his throat out. So probably needed to be cleaned. But again, the Dothraki have healers. They're like eunuchs that are like pseudo maesters, if I recall correctly, and they use legit medicine. Zachy boy, we lost you, I think. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Zach had a little camera issues, so
yeah,
we'll cut all that out. You look a little different, pal. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know what. Like, naivete is one thing, but like this is just just pure stupidity.
It's an upsetting thing, and obviously everything that follows it is upsetting. I don't hold as much anger or hatred as you do, but I understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's just you always, I mean, look, any of our listeners who have been around for a while know that you absolutely struggle to put yourself in the mind of somebody else.
True. Big true. I process everything purely logically rather than emotionally.
And look, I'm not saying that like I'm in no way saying that like she made a correct decision. All I'm saying is I can understand like her way of thinking. Just it is still a very naive and a very kind of like very stubborn way of thinking. Yeah. Which unfortunately leads to some bad shit.
These are some bad shits, to be sure. Some bad shits. Everyone gets diarrhea. It's just bad shits everywhere.
Bro.
You should see the Hershey squirts. Anyway. Shall we transition to our final segment here? This is Who Be Thrown In, of course.
Who Be Thrown In?
Our weekly list of who is doing cool things and making moves. This is not a bottom 5 list, unfortunately, so Daenerys has to come off just literally immediately. Because she would. Can we do an honorary bottom 1 and just put her on it for the week?
Who sucked the hardest? We could.
Yes.
We could start doing that.
Baelish is not in this episode much. He doesn't he like accept the Harrenhal thing? I don't know. Does he deserve to stay on the list here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because I think there are a couple we're gonna need to make room for.
Yeah, I think Tyrion needs to come up here.
Definitely Tyrion. I was thinking John, maybe. I can see the argument. Let me get rid of Littlefinger here real quick. Tyrion, I think's a definite.
Oh, Robb. Robb needs.
Robb is a big one. Yeah, I might need to add Robb in yet. I don't think he's been on our list yet.
Is now the time that I tell the guy
yes,
tell the people?
Now is the time to tell the people.
Did you guys know you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at We Don't Wanna Pod? You can do that. You can go type that in and you'll find us at We Don't Wanna Pod. It is true.
True.
You guys will keep up with all of our happenings. You might be able to see our faces, although if you're watching this video, then you're seeing our faces enough. Yeah,
also
you know, we post cool shit, sometimes funny shit, sometimes updates. Look, it's just a good way to have a community and have you guys stick around. Also, we have the We Don't Want a Podcast Discord, where Scott and I and all of you wannabes out there get to hang out and be a little community. Can talk some shit to each other, or to us. Maybe not to each other. We want you guys to like each other. We don't care if you like us. Talk about Harry Potter, talk about Game of Thrones, talk about all the happenings and yeah, just have like a nice little chill hangout. That's all we want. We want to hang out with you guys because you're our friends. Which, by the way, the link for that will be in the description.
Excellent. Okay, I've got Rob.
Hold on. One more thing I do want to say. We are contemplating trying to work towards putting out 2 of these episodes a week, which may happen soon, maybe not. We're talking about it. If you guys are interested in that, would that be too much content to digest every week? 2 episodes, like maybe a Tuesday and a Thursday episode, or do you like that? Would more episodes? That should be the entire screen, Scott. If we're doing this correctly. Yeah. So let us know. Let us know what you think about that.
Yeah, definitely. All of the things that you just said that I was definitely paying attention to, for sure.
Do you need to put Joff on here?
Do we?
I mean, he is quite literally the new Thronin.
He is. I mean, we didn't put him on last week, and he was Thronin as well.
He do suck, but
he do be sucking. I have a hot take, actually. I think Cersei needs to come off this list. And I'll tell you why. She took a big L this week. Banishing Barristan Selmy is a choice. And it is an extraordinarily bad one. I think she comes off the list for that reason.
I mean,
that is such a dumb move.
It is, but I don't think that I don't think it knocks her position on her playing the game.
I think it will have a trickle down effect, I think.
Okay.
We can table that for a moment. I have another this is going to go, I think, in direct conflict with what I said last week. I believe last week I said that Bobby B, since Bobby B died, I think I said something to the effect of like, oh, you can't die in an episode and make the list. I would like to posit that perhaps someone who did die should make the list.
Oh.
Because boy, did Syrio Forel go out like a fucking baller.
He did. Hey, what was our list last week? Did you already read that off?
Shit, I've already absolutely fucked it. I don't think I did. Yeah, my bad. It was Cersei at 1, Tywin at 2, Daenerys at 3, Littlefinger was 4, and Sam was 5.
Okay.
My bad. I've already taken several of those off, but yes, that's what it was. So is there anyone else that would be in contention here? John, you want John. And I can definitely see the argument for that.
Yeah, John, man, this is a tough one.
This is a tough one. Oh, man. Arya probably has to be on the list, too.
She just ran away and stabbed a boy.
She stabbed a dude! Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
No. I don't think she belongs here.
She's very resourceful. She got out of there when like no one else did, but okay. All right, fair enough. We don't actually see him, but Jaime is winning battles everywhere, we are told. Make a case for him. You could make a case for, well, kind of, Drogo, because he kicked that dude's ass. And that was rad as hell.
You know what? I think at this point, I think Drogo makes sense. I mean,
I think Drogo makes a lot of sense.
He's warring to prep to go and winning battles.
Mm-hmm.
And we see him do some shit.
We see him do some major shit. Jamie can come off. I floated that, but I've already talked myself out of it. Sam, I love you. I made a joke about you staying, but you don't do much.
No.
Not in this stacked of a competition. I think Cersei has to come off. That Barristan Selmy, that's really all she does this episode. She manipulates Sansa, which let's be frank, that's not difficult. And she dismisses Barristan Selmy. Major L, I think we have to pull her from the list for that. Or at least bring her way down.
I feel like just the simple comment between Tyrion and Tywin, where Tywin tells Tyrion
my
that,
sister rules, you mean?
Yeah, he's like, Joffrey is king, and he's
Yeah.
like, Cersei rules, you mean?
Yeah.
And Tywin acknowledging that, it's like, look, her position is still sound.
She dismisses Barristan fucking Selmy, dude. Quite literally the biggest living legend in the realm. For no good reason.
Table her, put her down on the
Okay.
like down there. Let's figure out the rest of this list. Who's your number one?
Tywin.
Really?
Yeah.
What does he do? What is he doing right now?
He'd be Warren. Lannisters are doing good shit. He's in charge of it.
He's not doing anything.
Well,
he
sent Jamie to go do it for him. Just like Tyrion sends Bronn to do his killing for him, you know. Tywin knows what's up. I could see an argument for Drogo being one, or Robb. Maybe it's Robb.
I think it's Robb.
All right, I'll shake to Robb. Wow, Robb jumping from never having been on the list to number one. That is unprecedented.
Biggest moves, man. Uniting
Biggest
the North.
movers. Yeah. So do we leave Tywin where he's at?
Oh, fuck, man. This is a tough list,
This
dude.
is tough. I like Ghost. I want him on the list, but I don't think he does quite enough. I love how we didn't even really talk about the fact that a dead man came back to life and Jon fought him in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that happened, by the way, too. Ghost warns Jon, but I don't think it's enough. This is just too stacked. By Ghost.
Too Stacked was my rap name in high school.
Shut the fuck up. Drogo, does Drogo land at 3, or do you think that's like a Tyrion spot?
I think, you know what? I think that, and then I think I actually have to pull Jon off. I think Syrio goes at 5.
I think Syrio, like, what a fucking baller, dude. Like, literally the opposite of what I said last week. Where if you die, you don't get to be thrown in. But man, he goes out like such a fucking baller. Is this order? Is this what we're doing? Does this look right? Jon will get the result of what he did this episode, I think, in the next episode. So I think we're okay with no Jon, even though I would like him on the list.
Man, okay.
Cersei's a definite for me.
I actually think that... No. I think this is a good list. I think this makes the most sense.
Do you like the order?
That's what I was contemplating.
For the listeners out there, we currently have Robb Stark at 1. Tywin Lannister stays at number 2. Khal Drogo be Warren. He be ripping dudes' throats out. He jumps up to number 3. Tyrion gets out of the Vale, gets the Hill Tribesman, has some good banter with his father. He jumps to 4, and our fucking dude, Syrio Forel, at 5. I think this is probably the list.
Yeah. So I do want to get a chance here to say, Chaz, our friend of the pod.
Ooh. Debatable.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
He said, "Hey, I wish your who be thrown in list was more structured." And to that we say, "Fuck you."
To that we say, "Go to hell."
No, to that we say, "Not today."
Not today. There you go. You should have said that the first time. That was good.
Yeah. No, look, it's just he did bring out, like, legitimately though, he brought up a very valid point. Like, as listeners, I'm sure it might be fun for you guys to try and guess like what merit these people are gonna have on our list. And
listen, this
fucking
is a
razzle dazzle, baby. This is our list.
This is our list. This is a perfect excuse for you to go down into the comments and say what your top 5 would be. You know, we'll read them and we'll say, nah, you're wrong. Screw you.
We might even argue with each other.
That's literally already happened, where someone agreed with me and said, yeah, Summer deserved a higher placement on the list. And Zach, you know, under our account was like, oh, screw you. And then I also under our account, it's a whole thing. So yeah, tell us what your top 5 would be and we'll, you know, agree or disagree with you to our heart's content. You know, maybe you'll agree with me and think that Tywin should be number 1, but you know, whatever. I can't be too mad at this list. I think this is
pretty sound.
Correct.
Yeah, I think the reason I want to bring up that Chaz thing is that, like, look, we know that Tyrion and Syrio are not thrown in, you know, quote, thrown in.
Syrio is not about to get on the Iron Throne. I mean, he's literally dead.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you guys, like, if we have listeners who are familiar with our Harry Potter series, you know that we would do, you know, like the House Cup award at the end where it was just like
every episode without fail.
Yeah, without fail.
Every episode.
Just generally who wins the episode, like who did the most that we cared about, that we liked. It's the same thing. Except now it's 5 of them in order. Yeah. It's the same thing. So
definitely. Definitely let us know what your list would have been. We'll tell you how wrong you were. But
one last little announcement for you. Wait, are we telling them about Chaz coming on?
I don't know.
We're telling you guys.
I think look, you just did.
I just told them. I mean, look, editing exists.
Nah, for this episode, it definitely does.
Episode 10, we will be joined by our good friend in front of the pod, Chaz. The man, the myth, the
something
kind of mid-ass person. Nah, just kidding. The man, the myth, the mid. No. We love you to death, Chaz. We're excited to have you on. We've got a good story about Chaz and the season finale of season 1. So this will be a good time. Yeah, we're excited about it. So not next week, but the week after, you guys will get to feast your eyes on bitch ass Chaz
and his bitch ass, as a matter.
And his bitch ass. Yes, we'll make sure he shows you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think Scotty, is that gonna do it for us? You got anything else?
I think that's gonna wrap us up, pal.
Awesome. Well, that was one hell of a fucking shit show, if I'm being honest.
Sure was something. It was something. I'm not sure what. It was indeed something, though.
We love you guys. We will see you guys next week. Thank you, as always, for listening. And we'll fucking see you guys later.